So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and start highlighting underneath my eyes with the Fair Highlight by Ben Nye. I like I like the Fair because it's not too white and I don't look like a raccoon, and I've seen that happen to girls in the past and it's just scary. So anyways, I go down the bridge of the nose, go over the eyes, but I don't go up onto the forehead with that right yet, like in the temples. I kind of keep it over kind of like a mask over the eyes. And then I'll do like a little round uh, rainbow motion over my forehead, because in the corners of where the hairline is at the corners is going to be it's going to be done with uh, contour. So we don't really need to even go in there. And I'll go and do the chin, and I'll just bring it out, just kind of like fade it into the body, into the jawline a little bit. And throughout this entire process, I'm going to be going back and forth, highlighting and contouring. At this point, this is a brush that I like to use. It's a stiff brush. It's a blush brush, and I like to use the straight up orange. It's just plain orange, and I'll start my contour with orange. Or actually, you could use the Youth Red. But I kind of like to start with the orange, and I'll contour with the orange in the same exact area, keeping in mind that I'm going to go a little bit over what I normally would do with the dark contour that's going to come in just a little bit. And I'll go back to my palette, and I'll pick a little bit more of the orange. And then I'm going to also do the cheeks. I'm going to do my cheeks a little bit with the orange. And I use a pushing motion, like pushing into the cheek a little bit. And every now and then I'll swirl. But my big thing is, throughout my entire process, you'll see me dabbing. I like to dab and daub, kind of like a painting. So I'll go ahead and dab and daub and put in the orange. I'll go all the way down onto my cheeks. And then I like to also go and do a little bit underneath my chin line, because I like to show a little bit of dimension, a little bit of depth. I'll take my blush brush and just pull it down a little bit. I don't want a stiff, straight line. Some girls do that and they look like they have beards. Well, we're trying to cover up beards. So at this point, I'm going to take the brush that has the white tips when you first buy it, and you can get them at Ulta, Mac, or even at Target for $9.99 at Target. And I'm going to go in with my dark contour colors, and I'm going to start doing in a circular motion into the hairline. But keep in mind, you're not going to go all the way to the edge of where the orange is, because this is a layering process. And I want the orange to show. And actually, at the very end of the entire makeup process, I'll go over even closer into the hairline with black hairspray over this dark contour. So it will be like almost like a 4-step process of contouring. Yes, it's a lot of contouring, but the drama it gives on stage is everything you can imagine. So I'm contouring, and whenever I'm doing this and I go to my cheeks, I don't really pick up from the palette again, because I don't want my cheeks to be black. I want them to be dark at the closest to the ear, and then kind of blend out a little bit. But so I push up into the cheek. That's my motion. A lot of people, somebody said a long time ago, it's all in the wrist, and that's very true. It's how you apply it. And quite frankly, I like the dabbing process. It puts it on there and it's not going to come back off. And now I'm going over it with just a MAC blush brush. And I got a little bronzer on there. And that's just to tone it down just a little bit. Of course, at this point, like I said before, throughout this entire process, I'm going to be dabbing some highlight and dabbing some contour throughout the whole process. And when I start actually doing my eyes, I will take the white highlight by the Fair Highlight by Midnight, and I will put a bunch of white underneath my eyes, because as you start to use the black shadows, it will fall onto your cheeks and stain your cheeks. So by having the white there, it will, you'll see later when I show you when the process comes for the black shadow on the eyes. But at this point, now I took the Youth Red with another brush that I don't like to mix my brushes. One brush has a purpose, and I don't mix and match my brushes unless it's for like a little brush for the eyes and it's for white or it's for beach. And I'll take the Youth Red and I'll just lightly dab over the entire process, right back over the edge. And you see how it almost gives you like this airbrush effect. So there we have it. So now this is white, actual highlight white eyeshadow. And I'm just gonna go into my eyes or into my forehead and put a little bit of white. It's a little bit more intense than the Fair. And now this is actually the Midnight Fair again. I told you, I go back and forth throughout this entire process. That's personally how I do it. You may not want to do it the same way, but then again, this entire tutorial is to show you and give you maybe a couple extra tips on something you may not know, something to incorporate into what you already know to make you into the fabulous queen that you are or that you want to be. This right here is actually a sponge, and I curl my sponges, and it's beach. It's the color of beach, and it's by, I believe it's by Krylon or Midnight. It's one of the other. I believe it's Krylon. And I'll go from the corner of the mouth to the ear, just to give the bottom of the cheek a ledge. But we're not going to have a hard stencil type ledge. It'll all be airbrushed in the end.